Good evening, and welcome along to another big show here on NVTV. We got a fabulous lineup of guests for you this week, including TV presenter Michaela Strachan. Find out what happened when I caught up with her earlier on this week. Now, do you remember the TV series Bad Girls? It's back on our TV screens if you missed it the first time around, and I'll be chatting to the lady who played Snowball Merriman. Nicole Faraday is going to be on the show this week. We'll have some great music from Stephen Donald and Conleth Kane, and as well as that we're chatting about musical theatre with Pauline Carville. But starting things off on the show this week, a legendary punk group. We're talking about the Outcasts. Greg Cowan is going to be with us in a couple of minutes after this. Current single from the Outcasts, this is called Stay Young.
Stay young. Are you kidding me?
So there we go, great song from the Outcasts. That's called Stay Young. And the Outcasts are back with a big gig this summer. We're going to find out about it in just a second because we're joined by the one and only Greg Cowan. Tell me about that song. That was a big release in America recently.
That was our last single.
Yeah.
Which we've done our career in reverse of anybody else. We decided until we were almost 60 or 60 now to have our first American release.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying, that the like of U2 and things are panicking, but a small American indie label that specialised in punk rock approached us, paid us some money to go back into the studio for the first time since 1983.
Right.
And do a new EP of almost 5 tracks.
Wow. So have you guys always had fans in America then?
Well, we were of a generation, remember, pre-internet.
Yeah.
So like our first time round, which basically went from 78, sort of 77 till about 80, 85, we played a bit in Europe, we played quite a lot in Europe, but we never got to go to America. So, you didn't know. Mm-hmm. The beauty of when we came back the second time is that it was the most bizarre experience to find that you could actually have fans around the world and you could tour around the world, which we have, well, up until the coronavirus. I mean, that became our main thing, is just going to as many foreign countries as possible. And
you're massive in places like Japan, aren't you?
Well, the funny thing is about Japan, like, I think there's a place for everybody.
Yeah.
But punk rock was surprisingly big. What really shook us when we first arrived, there's like a subgenre of Japanese fans who only want to know about Northern Ireland punk. Good Vibrations as a movie went on general release, something it didn't do in a hell of a lot of other countries. To arrive in, we arrived in Osaka airport. I'm not saying there was thousands of screaming fans, but there was about 15 little Japanese girls with Outcasts all over them with presents for us. Wow. I actually thought it was like some sort of a candid camera show. Somebody was setting us up, The adulation is unbelievable. Yeah. It is. I've never seen fans like it. So obsessed. Yeah. And the gigs are like, it was like being 16 again, 17. The amount of energy, oh God, and they're good looking, I mean, they kind of look like we did then, only now. I mean, there was a couple, when you actually played, you'd have 2 or 3 support bands minimum who would play for maybe 15, 20 minutes. These bands were brilliant, but these kids, I'm talking about in their 17, 18s, they just looked amazing, they were absolutely brilliant. Look, it's one of those things that every band should do, but at our age to get and do it, I mean, it's almost better now, because you're actually going, this is unbelievable,
And you think the Good Vibrations movie, because it did so well across the world, that kind of helped things as well?
Changed everything. We were touring before that, but all of a sudden you were being asked to do festivals. Instead of being 23rd on the bill, you were maybe, 3rd on the bill and stuff. It made a massive difference. And you can see once again, Germany, it was very big. You can see the countries where it was well received. You're very lucky that bands like the Undertones and Stiff Little Fingers are still touring, you know. And much as I was very jealous of them when I was a kid, we do a lot of gigs with them and stuff now, and we get thought of in the same breath. The movie made such a difference to everything. I mean, it's also a really good film, which is so rare in any sort of musical films. Then you had to play as well. I mean, unfortunately, last year was going to be one of our biggest years. Yeah. The play was coming back to the Lyric and then going down to Dublin for the first time. Yeah. And then we were doing a series of gigs in Dublin. Then we were hoping it's going to go maybe West End, maybe even America, because once again, the place, unbelievable.
Brilliant play. So are we going to be able to pick this up then in 2022, do you think?
That is the hope. Yeah. But remember, the good thing about when it was coming back this year, it was coming back with the original cast. Yes. And that cast, I mean, certainly the guy that plays me, I mean, that's inspired. I mean, if that man deserves some sort of a BAFTA or whatever they get, I mean,
Did he meet you before the play? Did he get any advice from you?
He did, he did. We were very lucky that we were allowed to come into rehearsals. The difference between the movie was that, yes, we were allowed to come. We did a lot of advice on clothing and stuff like that there. But they were, with the play, because they were playing their own instruments and they were trying to capture more of that live gig feeling. Certainly me and Brian were very influential there. Now, it only goes so far, But the first time I seen the finished play, and the guy who plays me just walks out in this little red coat that my mum had made for me and started to play, my heart got.
That was your actual coat that he was...
no, it was a copy of, but what I'm saying is that, I can remember my mum making this for me. It was like a wee red fox hunting jacket thing. And I didn't know that's what he was going to wear. Nobody had said to me. I'd been more... I mean, I love the way I'm saying. He asked me to show him some of the bass lines, and then this guy's like a proper musician, I'm showing him how to play it in one finger, and he's going, I'll just do it the way I do it, But I thought that was unbelievable. Yeah. And you're so lucky. I mean, how many people get a film, in a click?
Well, that's it,
You get to see yourself played as a kid.
And what about your relationship with Terry Hooley today? What's that like?
The funny thing is, we first time round, like Terry was, more so than any other band, Terry was actually our manager. Mm-hmm. Now, what that entailed really was just Terry drinking backstage, all our carry out and then stuff. You know, he was like the beauty of Good Vibes is what you see in the film and stuff's true. Like, it was the most unprofessional thing, but yet without Terry, we'd have just been a collection of bands in Belfast instead of being a certain time in life that Belfast was the musical centre. You know, for that brief period. Terry's Terry. You just love him. You know, I can honestly say that there. You know. He doesn't change much. He gets to be like all of us. We've all got a bit older, but we've all got older together.
Yes, yeah.
And God, you know what? And I love the fact that Terry now gets to be... Terry didn't have any ambition to be, you know, this celebrity. Like, Terry is now a professional Terry Hooley.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly, yes.
For the rest of his life. I mean, he's more recognised now than he'd ever been. I think that's brilliant, you know.
How long do you reckon you guys are going to continue for?
Well, there's only two, me and Martin, who's my 60, oh no, God, I'm allowed to say it, kill me. My older brother, but who unfortunately looks like my son now. I mean, Martin really is a fitness freak.
Yeah.
I mean, we had our first rehearsal last week. Of course, we picked the first day that was 31 degrees, so I mean, you could imagine, but all the rest of us arrive in just a little bit bigger, a little bit rounder. Martin walks in 10 years younger. I mean, he's fitter than ever. You know, it's kind of annoying. I don't know, as long as people will let us, you know. I mean, things don't seem to matter that way anymore. I mean, if the Stones can do it. Well,
exactly.
You know, I mean, of course, they do it flying in private planes and getting their blood changed before the gig. we travel EasyJet, you know, in Ryanair, but as long as it's fun, you know, I can honestly say that there. I can't imagine. I mean, I have missed it so much. I never thought I'd miss it the way I have. You know, there's nothing else like it.
Well, we've had a year without live music.
We've had 18 months since our last
18 months, yeah. We've all missed getting out to seeing live gigs as well. You guys are coming back at Ward Park in Bangor, Punk in the Park, 22nd of August.
It's a Sunday afternoon. It's a free concert.
Wow.
Obviously not dust, like, I mean, I like to think I'm getting a few quid. I mean, can you check that out? I mean, it's, some days, yeah, it's going to be a free day. It's really good in the fact that ourselves, you know, and without putting ourselves down, we're like all the northern bands, we're a pop punky band, you know what I mean? We can appeal to, you know, a large audience. We've got a little Bangor band on with us too, Wasted Talent, that is ideal for that type of day. It's not like a hardcore punk gig. I like to think people who are just doing nothing that Sunday afternoon will come, you know, and they're the ideal band on before us, you know, so it's not sitting anything, because punk can be intimidating, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I would like to see there's going to be a few babies there, you know, and a few mothers, a few bottles of Chardonnay.
So Ward Park, 22nd of August. This is part of the Open House Festival, I believe, as well. Yes.
That we should all, I mean, they are a marvellous group of people.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, looking ahead to 2022, you mentioned some touring and stuff there. You'll be back out across the world?
These are the tours that will be put back. We start off immediately. We're going to do the Black Box at Christmas. Okay. We always do a Christmas show. Yeah. And this year, it is going to be a good vibration show. We're going to have Protex in it, and we're going to have Brian from Rudy going to be doing Rudy songs. Terry will be DJing. You know, we're going to make it. You
know, I played Big Time on the radio yesterday, and it still sounds absolutely amazing.
All my life, that song's broke my heart.
And especially when you put the headphones on and listen through the headphones in the studio.
It's
amazing.
Classic. It really is. And Rudy is one of the great. They never reformed. They didn't come back. And you know what? They don't know what they're missing. You know.
Yeah.
But Brian from Rudy is going to do the hits of Rudy with me and Pete from the Outcasts backing him. And then we go to France. The gigs, it was going to be our last gigs were in France, so we go to France hopefully in January. We're hoping with double vaccinations and things, and then Switzerland, and then it just starts again. We're doing a few Irish dates with Therapy.
Oh wow, that'd be good, yeah.
Which I'm really looking forward to. We're going to do Dublin and Belfast with them, you know, where they've asked us to be their special guests. It's funny to be like the you know, where they're not even young anymore, but you know, like, I think it's a brilliant lineup. I really do. You know, I'm really looking forward to that there, and then we'll just see what happens.
So things are good, but do you ever feel disappointed that bands from Northern Ireland like yourselves, who had all this talent, could have made it bigger and should have made it bigger?
I think you've got that question the wrong way around. The bands that did have talent made it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Martin, my brother, could write brilliant songs. We were the original punk band that started. We were on stage before we could play our instruments. You know, I'm very proud of what we are now. You know, I like to think now, second time round, we can do justice to the songs that Martin wrote First time round, we were hard to listen to. You know. And I watched then the people that really did have talent get there. I mean, it's funny now, you know, it's taken us this long to become what we are, you know. The other guys that are in the band, I mean, we're unfortunately, Getty and Colin died, you know. I mean, the replacements of them now, like, are really professional musicians, you know.
Yeah.
I still think talent comes. I mean, Stiff Little Fingers are a bigger live act now than they've ever been, you know. The Undertones are, you know. Even the like of ourselves can go to anywhere. What more do you want? You know, we can go to most major cities and pull a crowd. Yeah. You know, something I never imagined when we stopped playing, you know, in the 80s. Wait until 2022. You know.
Well, we heard one of the tracks there. Is there more new material on the way?
Gotta hope not. I don't think I could learn anymore. Do you know what? We don't know. Look, the type, you know, can I be honest? If I go and see an artist now, certainly from our era, as soon as they say this is off the new album, well, I'm either going to the toilet or the bar, you know. I think you can get away with a couple. I know Martin is still writing stuff. Yeah. What I was very surprised when he actually came up with new material, how strong it was, and the single that you've heard could have been from that period. Yeah. Except now it's in tune and we're actually playing it. Whether you can do that again, I just don't know, but who knows? Okay, great stuff. Well, Greg, as always, it's good to see you. And you, Ron. Thanks very much. And we look forward to Bangor, 22nd of August. 22nd of August. Punk in the Park, we'll all be there. Yeah, for all the family. All right, Greg, good to see you as always. Thank you. So from punk to musical theatre now, and there's so many great shows coming to the Grand Opera House here in Belfast. We're going to start off with one called Six, which is coming in October. Here's a clip.
Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. Listen up, let me tell you a story. To the show, to the history mix, switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be six wives, but now we're ex-wives. No, 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 no way. If you think for a moment, I bet you a moment. Just hold up there. No, 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 no way. Let's go. We're six. We're six.
There we go, the fabulous musical Six, which is heading to Belfast to the Grand Opera House. Now, we're talking musical theatre with actress, singer, director, and now radio presenter as well. Pauline Carville is here. Hello.
Hi, Robin. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming in to the studio. We saw a clip there of Six, which is coming to the Grand Opera House. And of course, so many great musicals on the way to Belfast, isn't there?
Absolutely, Robin. And Six, the musical, is about Henry VIII's wives. And it's all about girl power. So what else do I need to say about that?
Before we take a look at the next lot of musicals, let's talk about the Grand Opera House first of all. 12.5 million refurbishment, and it's looking fabulous, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, Robin. I am so excited to actually walk in through those doors. I'm sure lots of people are. It looks absolutely stunning. They've done an absolutely incredible job.
So we mentioned there one of the big musicals that's on the way. Tell us what else we got to look forward to coming to Belfast then.
Well, we've got Heathers, we've got Grease and Hairspray, and that's just in October of this year. Let's look ahead into 2022. We've got the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and of course the much awaited, everybody's talking about Jamie. And
everybody is really talking about Jamie. This is the West End musical of the moment, isn't it?
It really is, and everyone is so looking forward to it. And I can't wait. I will be there in the front row, gasping.
So let's move on. Let's talk about you for a little while as well, because when you started your career, you went off and did the West End musicals, didn't you?
I did, Robin. As a child, all I ever wanted to do was sing, act, and dance, and I took it so seriously. And back then, there was very little here in Northern Ireland, but I worked with the Ulster Theatre Company and Michael Poyner, and from there, he helped me to audition for all the drama schools. I went to drama school, and then I went on to the Royal Academy of Music in London, and I was very lucky. I did quite a number of shows. I worked with Trevor Nunn at the National Theatre. I also worked with the wonderful performer and director that is Julia Mackenzie. Unfortunately, my career stopped short because I became really ill with severe depression, and that's why I came home and I focused on teaching other people to help get students out there and to achieve their dreams. And I've been doing that now since I came home in 2004.
Well, let's talk about the West End stage then. You mentioned Julia Mackenzie. You're in a production which actually went on to win an Olivier Award.
I did. I was in Honk the Musical, and that was on the Olivier stage at the Royal National Theatre in London. And working with Julia Mackenzie was incredible because I watched her as a child myself, with her performing on every West End stage there was, and it was just an honour to work with someone like her.
And as well as Julia, one of the legends of Theatreland, Trevor Nunn as well.
Yes, I actually, when I started with Julia Mackenzie in Honk, Julia had said to me, by the way, from your audition, I've already mentioned your name to Trevor Nunn. He's going to be recasting the Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice, and I've told him that I've got a great actress in the show. And so you will hear from him. And honestly, Robin, 3 days later, I am being called to see his assistant director, first of all. I go do, obviously do a Shakespeare piece, and the next minute I am upstairs to the big boss himself, Trevor Nunn, and I'm learning a song because I'm understudying one of the main roles and also singing in my own role. And I had to learn the role in front of him, the song in front of him, and then perform it to him. And Robin, if I let you into a little secret,
Go on.
I was so nervous. I didn't even have any control over my bowel. I was peeing myself, Robin.
In front of Trevor Nunn?
Yes, but he wouldn't have known because I was wearing these nice trousers. But that's what can happen. And you know something? I got the job, so it was worth it.
Now, I would imagine there's going to be more stories like that in your book, which is coming out later this year.
There is, and that's just one of them, of course. It's called Am I Mad or What? And of course, it's the reader's decision on whether they think I'm mad. I know the answer to it, of course. And it goes through my life from a child right through my career in London, and my experiences, my professional life, and of course, more importantly, the dark side of my personal life, which was clouded with severe depression.
Now, yourself, Elton John, Chris Martin from Coldplay, all have something in common, don't you?
We do. We all were mentored by the wonderful Mary Hammond, who was the course director, and she set up the course at the Royal Academy of Music in musical theatre. And so, yes, I was very lucky to have experienced that and be mentored by someone so amazing.
Now, there's always been a great musical theatre heritage here in Northern Ireland, hasn't there?
There has, Robin, but you know something? Over the last 10 years, I would say it has gotten much, much bigger. And you know something? There is so much talent here in Northern Ireland, and rightly so. The musical companies, the theatre schools that are popping up, and the young people, right through from the wee totes, right up to the 18-year-olds who are working all their way through, are now realising that you can't just do one side of musical theatre. It is not that easy. You've got to be doing your theatre school and then your one-on-one singing tuition, your acting exams, your dance tuition. You've got to be a triple threat, and actually even more now, you need to be a quadruple threat, because now they're asking for musical instruments. So yeah, and more you need to be everything.
So can people, young people who are coming up through the ranks, can they study here in Northern Ireland, or do they have to go away to England? Do they have to go to London?
Do you know something? When I first came back from London, I had a very strong opinion on that, Robin. And of course, it was because I had done training and I had gone through the drama school experience. Not everybody wants to go that far. Some people are very, very happy to stay in Northern Ireland. And we have got some great performers here in Northern Ireland who haven't gone on to London. Tara Lynn O'Neill, and I'm trying to remember the lovely Matt Forsyth, one of the best actors that I have seen. Now, he did go to drama school and then he came straight back to his lovely wife because he wanted to work here. So I do believe that if you go through the qualifications, there's lots of qualifications that you can go through right up to degree level, especially if you do want to stay in Northern Ireland, because not everybody wants to take that other route.
One person who's done the full journey, she started in Belfast, she went to the West End, she's been to Broadway, her dreams came true in Wicked, is the lovely Rachel Tucker.
Absolutely, and you know something, we in Northern Ireland are so proud of Rachel Tucker. She also went to the Royal Academy of Music a few years after me, and she's done so well. And actually, I watched her only a few weeks ago on Holby City.
And of course, me and Rachel go back a long way as well. We discovered this little photograph earlier on, way before she ever did the West End stuff. So you're still working here in Belfast, in Northern Ireland, training young people, aren't you?
I am actually. I run a school called Belfast School of Singing, and I have a few teachers as well as myself, and we work with children from age 6, and we have specialist teachers who are working with the child's voice, because that's really important, that they're not singing things that are way too advanced for them. So I came up with a particular method that our teachers work with, especially for children, and we take it right up to adult, and specifically myself, then I work very closely a lot with adults, and you would probably be surprised at this, Robin, that there are people who want to come for singing lessons. I mean, obviously we have the young people who want to go on to college, and I work with them, and that's one side of my work. The other side of my work that I'm very passionate about, and that is the mindset behind singing. So a lot of the adult students are students who have either been told that they can't sing by a family member, a school teacher, a choir master, you know, when they were younger. And of course, nowadays, look, there is evidence out there, everyone can sing and everyone can learn to sing. 20% is technique. 80% is your mindset. So if you come to see me, I work with you on what is stopping you from being able to sing, because most people that I have discovered throughout my years as a vocal coach and singing teacher is that they are not all going to singing lessons because they want to be singers, or or it's specifically about being a better singer. They're coming because they want to have more confidence and self-esteem, and they're coming to do it through something that they enjoy, and therefore the mindset coaching is an extension of that.
Let's move on. You've done the acting, you've done the singing, you've done the directing, you've been a vocal coach, now you're on the radio.
I am, Robin, and I'm absolutely loving it. I never thought for 1 minute ever in my career. And when I first met you, actually, I used to say that presenting is a very, very different skill. As an actor, you learn your script. As a singer, you learn your songs, and your job is to communicate the script or the song as if you have actually written it and as if you're saying it. Presenting is on the spot, speaking from your own head. So I was so used to script, so I was quite nervous to start with, but I'm getting used to it now.
So Sunday afternoons, you're on Belfast 24/7, doing what you do best, playing the songs from the musicals.
I'm playing all the brilliant hits of musicals, from the classics right through to the modern day. And Robin, can I give a little shout out to those companies out there that I would love to have some singers or Northern Ireland talent to come to send me in some clips of them singing, or possibly come into the studio and sing for us. I would absolutely love that.
Okay, well, I'm sure they will get in touch if they want to join you on the show. You've also taken over the mid-morning show on Belfast 24/7, Monday through Thursday from 10.
I did, Robin, and I feel really honoured to have taken over your slot. At first, I remember on Monday, I have to say, I accidentally did say your little tagline, good morning, and I nearly said it's nearly chucking out time for me, because again, I take someone's words and I make them my own. And then I had to go, hold on a wee minute, that's Robin's, you'll have to find your own. So I found good morning. So all those musical fans out there are going to enjoy that on the normal music. And do you know what I'm loving about it, Robin?
What?
I'm able to, because the musicals is very much my work, right? And what I always dreamed of, and that's what I've experienced out. The other music takes me right back to my young days. And so the little stories that I come up with, I'm really having a lot of fun doing that too.
All right, if you had to choose your favourite musical of all time, what would it be?
My favourite musical of all time has got to be Miss Saigon. I have to, that's it. Other than that, the second one would, of course, be Norma Desmond.
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
Of course. For me, it has to be Blood Brothers. I've seen it 14 times.
You have, well, of course, that would be on my top 5 list as well.
Exactly. Right, thank you for coming in and joining us. Would you like to hear some music now?
I would love to hear some music.
Do you want to hear some local music now?
Always, Robin.
You're a big fan of Conleth Kane?
Oh, Conleth, I love him. He's on, brilliant.
He is.
Let's hear him.
We've got a brand new version of the song Proud that we played on the show last year. He's just done a Seventh Heaven remix of it. So here is Conleth Kane and Proud.
I'm proud of what I see. When I look in the mirror, I see me. I'm proud of what I say. I'm proud of being me. 'Cause when I look in the mirror, I feel free. I don't care anymore what you think of me. I don't care anymore. No, I've got clarity. 'Cause I'm through, and I will say it all. I don't care anymore. No, 'cause I'm me.
great new version of the song Proud from Conleth Kane, and we'll have some more music a little bit later on from Stephen Donald. But right now I've been catching up with TV presenter Michaela Strachan during the week, and she's encouraging us to change our habits at home when it comes to saving water. Here's what happened when I met Michaela Strachan. And I'm pleased to say joining us now on the line is somebody, I have to say, I've waited 16 years to get on the TV show. We've achieved it today. Michaela Strachan, how are you?
I'm delighted to be on your show after 16 years of waiting.
I remember watching you right back to the days of The Hitman and Her and stuff like that, so...
You're showing your age and you're proving mine.
But we're not on to talk about that today. We're here to talk about something a little bit more serious. And I spoke to Mark there about this wild swimming challenge. You did that as well. How was it for you?
Well, you can imagine it's a bit of a challenge to get in the water with an ex-Olympic swimmer, Mark Foster. Not a chore, that's for sure. He was absolutely charming and gave me a few tips on my breaststroke, even my butterfly. But, the whole point was, yes, it was a challenge to do a little bit of wild swimming, but it was a pleasure. It wasn't too cold. It was a lovely place. It was Beckenham Place Park. It was a lake there in London. A little bit chilly when we got out because the wind was blowing. But the whole point was to make people that enjoy wild swimming, and a lot of people have started wild swimming and really enjoying the benefits. It was to really make people think of the connection between places that you wild swim, those blue spaces which are our rivers and our lakes, to connect them with the water that comes out of your tap in your homes. And I think we're so disconnected to these things. We take it for granted, but we need to start rethinking about the way we use and the way we waste, in particular, water in our homes.
We are wasting a hell of a lot of water, aren't we?
Well, that's the thing, we need to start thinking about the way we use water so we don't end up in a crisis. And the prediction is that if we still carry on using the same amount of water and wasting it, then in 25 years' time, we are going to have water shortages in the UK. And that comes as a surprise to a lot of people, because people think of the UK as a wet, rainy country. I mean, I know at the moment it's not. The UK is basking in sunshine. But obviously that's not always the case. And with climate change, weather is so unpredictable these days. Yes, you're enjoying sunshine now. Last month, everybody was moaning that it was so wet. And if we look back, February 2020 was the wettest on record. May 2020 was the driest. So it's that unpredictability now of our weather and of our rainfall, coupled with the fact that we have a growing population, 67 million we've got in the UK now. That's in the next 20 years going to go up to about 72 million, along with the fact as well that we use so much water. Each person uses a lot of water. On average, 1960s, people would use about 85 litres per day. Now, 143 litres per day is the average that a person uses. So all of those things together, you can see that in 25 years' time, then the demand will outstrip the supply. And we've got to prevent that from happening, because otherwise, the water that we're taking from those wild places, from the blue spaces like the rivers and lakes, is going to dry up. And that's going to affect our wildlife, which is going to affect our environment, which is going to affect our ecology. So we've got to really pre-think that and make changes before we get to that crisis management point.
Little steps we can take already, and I'm doing this from my home studio today, so I'm looking out the window at the moment. The heat wave's here, the sun's shining, Belfast is looking gorgeous, but I look around and I see a couple of people in the area at the moment with their hose pipes out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, things like washing your car. It's so much easier, isn't it, to get the hose pipe out? But if you do it with a bucket, you're going to save a lot of water, obviously. So it's those obvious changes. And the great thing is, in the UK, at this stage, we're not asking people to do massive changes. We're asking people to make little changes and stick to them. And this whole partnership is between WWF and Finnish. And what they want to do is they want to replenish 500 million litres of fresh water in the UK. And they want people to make a pledge to make 3 little changes at home that will save water, and then put that on public Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag Save Water Clean Clever, gets people talking about the whole problem, the whole issue, and gets people talking about how to respect our water that's coming out of our taps. And as I say, there are so many simple little things that you can do. I mean, the obvious one is take a shower instead of bath. I love a bath. Don't know if you do, but I love baths. but I take less of them now. You know, I take more short showers than long baths. I've always turned the tap off when I brush my teeth, but you know, it doesn't matter how much nagging you do. A lot of people still don't do that as a general habit. Things like if you fill your dishwasher and only do one wash in your dishwasher a day rather than hand washing, surprisingly, that saves quite a bit of water. Don't pre-rinse before you put in the dishwasher. All of these little things, I mean, definitely mend anything that leaks. You know, those leaky toilets that you see just keep running, that wastes a huge amount of water. I mean, I think in future we will get to the stage where we don't flush our loos with clean water. I mean, if you think about it, for the future when we do have less fresh water, that's a nuts thing to do. We should definitely be using recycled water to flush our loos. And so, you know, it's all those little things that we just need to think ahead of when it becomes a crisis problem.
Okay, if people want to get more information, if they want to get involved in this pledge campaign, give us the details.
Well, it's mainly on social media. So as I say, use the hashtag Save Water Clean Clever, and there'll be hopefully lots of people will join in that conversation, and it will trend and become a thing where we'll all be very proud that we're doing it, and we're making those little changes that make a difference. And as I say, when you connect that water out of your tap with those blue spaces, and then you think that by saving the water out of your tap, you're saving the blue spaces, which looks after the wildlife, which looks after the environment, which looks after the ecology, we can all put a smile on our face and think we've done something good.
Michaela, just to finish on, what are you up to at the moment? Any TV projects we should know about?
Well, I've just obviously not so long ago, finished Spring Watch. I guess the next one for me is Autumn Watch, which will be the first week of November. So that's the next television project that I'm doing.
And it always looks like you guys are having so much fun when you're doing that. It is live TV, so it's probably pretty stressful, but it still seems fun as well.
Do you know, I think when you've been doing something for a long time, it becomes obviously a lot less stressful. And so I really enjoy the live element of television. I mean, the watches are actually quite well organised and advanced, and we do have a dress rehearsal, so we pretty much know what we're doing once we get on live. I mean, it's usually the technical side that I find more scary than the fact that I've just got to talk and make it slightly entertaining. So yeah, the technical side, particularly these days with the way that we've all had to change what we do so dramatically, and the way that they've changed doing a live program like The Watches has been huge. You know, instead of all the producers being together in one place, they've all been doing it from their front rooms and their spare bedrooms. So it's incredibly impressive. And I think that side of it is far more nerve-wracking than the presenters just having to talk about something that they love and that they're passionate about.
And it must be great to be in a job as well where you can travel around the world to different countries and things. I saw you in South Africa recently doing some wildlife reporting. That looked really good.
Well, actually, I live in South Africa.
Wow.
So yeah, I live in Cape Town, and which is where I am at the moment. As you can see, I'm a citizen of the world's map behind me here. That's what I like to think of myself as. And in fact, you know, going back to the water thing, I was in Cape Town when it was in 2018. We had massive droughts, a massive drought, and Cape Town was nearly the first modern city to run out of water when they nearly had to turn the municipal taps off. And it's at that point where everyone seriously changes the way they use water. Nobody wants to queue at a public tap with a bucket, and that's all the water you've got. So the government were advising everybody in Cape Town to limit the amount of water to 50 litres a day, which you know, a lot of people don't even know how much that is. But if you think about flushing a loo takes on average 9 litres to flush a loo. 50 litres is going to go pretty quickly if you keep flushing your toilet. Yes. So, you know, there was the signs in every public loo saying, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And people were doing it. You know, in the UK, we're not at that stage yet. But this whole thing of thinking about it now will mean that we don't have to get to that stage in 25 years' time. And I think that's the whole thing in particular with the climate crisis. We need to think about things before they get to crisis mode, because then it's crisis management. And by the time you get to that stage, it's usually too late to actually move backwards. So we've really got to start changing our habits to things that we've taken for granted, water being one of them, now, before it becomes a massive crisis and a catastrophe.
Brilliant. Michaela, do you know what? It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Well, after 16 years, I'm glad I made it.
Okay, time for some more brand new music. And Stephen Donald has just released a new single called Man in the Moon. Here's the video.
Well, the man in the moon came down too soon, so we're told. I arrived in the morning, went right back at noon. He took one good look around and then he said, hey, you know, I think I'll go back home to bed. Now the man in the moon sings his own tune, so we're told. I'll do as I please, sitting on the cheese, says he. He did not enjoy his stay, he just had to get away. He said, I'm going to pack up and go. Man in the moon, why don't you come on back now? Why don't you come back? Man in the moon, it's not as bad as all that. It's not as bad as all that. Man in the moon, oh come on back now. Why don't you come back? Why don't you come back? We're all worried, you're all alone. In the day you seem to hide yourself away. Well, you wait till dark till you come out and play. At night, we're out of sight. Perhaps you got it right. You've seen the light, that's where you're gonna stay. Man in the moon, why don't you come on back now? Why don't you come back? Man in the moon, it's not as bad as all that. It's not as bad as all that. Man in the moon, oh come on back now. Why don't you come back? Why don't you come back? We're all worried, you're all alone. Come back.
Great song from Stephen Donald, that's called Man in the Moon. Now, do you remember the TV series Bad Girls? I absolutely loved it. Had so many great stars in it, including Stephanie Beacham, Amanda Barry, Claire King from Emmerdale, Deborah Stevenson, and also my next guest who played the role of Snowball Merriman. Here's what happens when I met the lovely Nicole Faraday earlier on this week. Okay, let's meet our next guest on the big show. And there's not too many people who can say they've been banged up in prison with Stephanie Beacham and Amanda Barry. My next guest she's the star of TV's Bad Girls, one of my favourite shows of all time. It's back as reruns. We'll find out more. Nicole Faraday, how are you?
Hello, Robin. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And I gotta say, I'm loving the Bad Girls backdrop there as well.
Thank you very much. As I was just saying to you, the pandemic has taught me lots of things, not least technical things. So I can actually make my own backgrounds now. Whereas when I started doing interviews at the beginning of COVID, I was crying because I couldn't make anything work.
Let's talk Bad Girls, because for anybody who missed it the first time around, they can now watch it, or if you're a fan, you can re-watch it all over again. You played the character of Snowball Merriman, who came into the show kind of after it was well established, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. I joined in series 4. It ran for 8 series with a couple of Christmas specials. I joined in 2002, and I think the first series launched in 99 or 2000. So yeah, it was already established. It was very daunting as a young actress. It was my first big telly job, coming into something that was kind of had won all these drama awards and was primetime ITV at the time, kind of 10 million viewers a week. So it was it was like definitely like being the new girl at school and seeing all these people I knew who were in the public eye.
So remind us of the character Snowball Merriman then. She was a devious little character, wasn't she?
It was. Do you know what? It was absolutely great fun. It was kind of pinch me, is this real? It was very much like when you're a little girl. Well, not you, Robin. When I was a little girl and I dreamed of being an actress, it's kind of the things dreams are made of, because we had car chases, explosions. I had a stunt double. I mean, so many dramatic things. So I was a drug smuggling, murdering ex-porn star from Wigan who pretended to be an American movie star. So for the first episode, I had this Hollywood accent, and I was telling them all I'd been in Die Hard and things like that. And then they do their research and find out I'm really just a porn star from Wigan who went to America and kind of was a bit of a flop. I think that because they give you a backstory. So my backstory was that the best role I ever got was as a roller skating, non-speaking waitress in a KFC commercial. So I turned to porn instead. And then I stabbed a photographer 17 times in a cocaine-fueled frenzy, and then deliberately got caught with drugs coming back to England, because there is a weird rule where you can't be extradited to a country where there's the death penalty if you're wanted for crimes here. So I had there was no reason for me to not cause as much trouble as possible, because as long as I'm in prison in the UK or escaped, then it means I'm not going to get the electric chair back in America. So I just, every episode I was just, really bad.
Tell us about some of the other TV work that you've done. You were in Emmerdale as well, weren't you?
I was. Well, I think, and I'm not complaining, because I think the baddie is always the best, most fun.
Yeah, of course.
But once you played a baddie, then kind of you're a bit typecast, unless you're a huge, big, famous film star like Kate Winslet, who could play anything. So, so having played such a baddie in Bad Girls, off the back of that, I then was cast as Dr. Heather Lincoln in Casualty for a series, who misdiagnosed all the patients, slept with the male patients and the male doctors, caused a punch-up between a male nurse and doctor, made Duffy, Kathy Shipton, she loved me because she said it's the first time ever that she got to actually be a bit angry as Duffy, because Duffy was such a lovable character, and she got to nearly slapped me around the face and called me a bitch. And she went, "I've never got to do that before," because my character kind of was that bad that it inspired Duffy to call me a bitch. And then I got sacked for malpractice after being found asleep sucking my thumb in the staff room when I was meant to be on the ward, saving lives. So that was good fun. Then in Emmerdale, I worked with the lovely Patrick Mower. I played a woman who had hired him as a male escort, because there was a story down there. He was earning some money as a male escort on the side because he was dating June Ackland from The Bill, obviously. So she was playing his girlfriend, and he wanted to impress her with all his money. So he went off and was a male escort, and I got a bit too keen on him and offered him all these thousands to sleep with me. And when he then decided actually no, he wanted to stick with June, I sent topless pictures wearing his tie on his phone to blackmail him, and so that she would think that we were having an affair when we weren't. So so I was a baddie in that too. And I killed my husband in The Bill, and I was a terrible mother on Doctors. Now, every part I've played, I have to say, I've been just evil, except for on stage, because I played Eva Cassidy, as you know, who was a lovely, very spiritual person, died very young, tragically of cancer, age 33. Beautiful music, kind of almost too nice. She was such a spiritual hippie. She'd talk to the trees, talk to the animals, and I was kind of, I did 3 national tours and went all around Ireland, which was lovely. I loved it. But yeah, it was kind of after a while I was itching to be evil again because she was just so nice to everyone.
Well, talking about the Eva Cassidy tour, we have to mention somebody else who was in that show as well, because she will be watching this. We've both got the same, one of our best friends, and she'll be watching this saying, why didn't I get a mention? And that is the lovely Rosemary.
Rosemary, I love Rosemary. We've been friends for many years. We actually, of the 3 tours that I did, because it kept coming back, which was nice, because Eva Cassidy, her music is timeless. Covers so many genres, and also, as I say, because of the cancer, it means a lot to people who have struggled, because we were also raising money for cancer charities at the performances. And Rosemary, we did one tour where she played my mommy. She always says, I'm not your mommy. I'm not old enough to be your mommy, she says. Anyway, so she played my mommy in one tour, and then the 3rd tour that we did together, she played Eva Cassidy's best friend. So she switched roles. I think she was happier playing my friend than my mother, I have to say. But yes, I still call her Mammy to wind her up. I love her dearly and I miss her. Haven't seen her for ages. Mad as a box of frogs, but we always have such fun.
Oh, she's always good fun. I had the pleasure of doing panto with her 2 years ago. We did Aladdin together. She was the genie and I was Ebenezer. So we had so much fun during that run.
I'm playing Ebenezer this Christmas. Can you believe? I'm playing a female Ebenezer. Like, I've seen a friend of mine, Vicky Stone, who's a brilliant comedian. She has played Ebenezer before, but in drag, like with a full-on tash, and played as a man, which is fine, because in panto it's all about gender bending, isn't it? You know, you've got the dame and you've got, you know, the principal boy used to be played by a girl. Anyway, I was kind of a bit daunted, because although I don't mind it, I just don't think I make a very convincing man somehow. So I'm delighted to say that they've decided to make me evil Auntie Ebenezer. So I'm the evil Auntie Ebenezer. So I'm playing the role, traditionally a male role, but I'm playing it as an evil lady. So I get to be an evil woman in panto. I do panto every year, which is lovely. I work for PHA mostly, Paul Holman. And I'm at Red Hill this year. So I will be giving my female Ebenezer at Red Hill in Surrey, yes, in December and beginning of January.
And of course, it's always better to be bad in panto, always better to be bad on TV than the good guy, isn't it?
Exactly. As I say, with Eva Cassidy, I love singing her music, but after a while I was like, stop being so bloody nice.
Well, do you know what, Nicole? Sadly, we're out of time, so thank you so much for joining us on the show. Bad Girls is on the Drama Channel at the moment.
Yes, and I was just going to quickly say we've got the biggest ever Bad Girls fan convention is happening in September at Elstree, Hilton in Elstree, and there's 12 of us original cast members all going to be there. It's raising some amazing money for the Ailey Brown charity, which is a hospice for a respite care for families of children with cancer up in Scotland there, organised by Simone Labib, who played Helen Stewart. So if anyone fancies it, there's still tickets available. Bad Girls Reunion 3, bg3.co.uk, I think, if people wanted to get tickets. It'd be lovely to see you all.
Fabulous. Okay, we'll get that link up on the screen as well. Nicole, as always, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And of course, you can catch the rerun of Bad Girls on the Drama TV channel at the moment. So that's all we have time for on The Big Show this week. A thank you to all my guests, and we'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.